What is up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Lauren and I typically like to upload speed cleaning and organisation videos as well as some home renovation vlogs on our first home which we purchased last year. I do also like to try and get some lifestyle and travel vlogs on the channel, but obviously in this current pandemic it's a little bit difficult to get that kind of footage. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy watching, you know it would mean the absolute world to me if you went ahead and hit the subscribe button somewhere on the screen. You know the drill. Today's video is a little bit different for my channel. I kind of want to do a bit of a personal journal, which if I put publicly on my channel, I know there'll be a lot of people in the same situation who can relate to the video and hopefully take something from it. And that is to discuss my condition, and I'm using the word condition because I don't particularly like the word illness. It is an illness, but I'm not necessarily ill all the time from it, so I do try to avoid using that word. But it's a common condition and I know there will be a few viewers that can relate to this. It's type 1 diabetes. I am a type 1 diabetic and I have been for 14 years. I am a poor diabetic at that. I really have struggled in the past to get my blood sugars into control, and this is why I'm doing this, so I can just grab the bull by the horns and make sure that I am giving myself the best future, particularly in this pandemic, because it's frightening anyway, but for someone who has type 1 diabetes, it's just that extra bit frightening because you just don't know how it's going to affect you if you happen to catch the virus. It's not good, it's not fun. My anxiety is very high at the moment, and this is one of the main reasons why I want to take control and just get into a good diabetic state of mind. So a little bit of a backstory. I have been type 1 diabetic for 14 years. As I said, I take 2 types of insulin multiple times a day, every day for the rest of my life until I find a cure, which who knows when that'll be. I also have to test my blood sugar, and normally I would prick my finger and test that blood on a device, but now technology is totally advanced and now I just have to scan a little sensor on the back of my arm. You've probably seen the sensor on some of my previous videos. I know in my last video it was quite prominent. You can see the round sensor, and I would just use my phone to scan that and it will tell me my blood sugar readings. Blood sugar readings should be between 4 and 9. Mine tend to go off into the 20s, and that's really bad. That can cause hyperglycemia, which is high blood sugar, and that can cause so many complications for all the different organs in my body. I can also go low, so that's anything below 4, and that's called hypoglycemia, which is, it's got a quicker onset than hyperglycemia, but it's just as dangerous. It's just as frightening, and yeah, I need to find the balance between 4 and 9 so that I'm not going hyper and I'm not going hypo. I need to maintain a nice steady flow between 4 and 9. So I'm going to document this to see if I can work out some ways on how to do that. Having diabetes for 14 years, I should really have knuckled down by now, but I just haven't. It's one of those things which I haven't really cared about. But this current pandemic has really just given me the kick up the arse that I need to look after myself. As I said about the scanner on the back of my arm, I wear this for 2 weeks and I alternate arms. It's a new sensor every time. I use an app on the phone and it tells me my blood sugar readings. I will try and insert some footage of me using the app and the scanner, or I will put some screen recordings of the results that come up when I use it. I do typically try and scan about 20 times a day. It does give me a good estimate of what my blood sugars are doing, so the more I scan, the more results I can work with, I suppose. It does give me an estimated HbA1c result, and the HbA1c result, it's a bit dated. I think they're trying to move away from this result, but it is the average blood sugar result, which normally you would go to the hospital and get your blood drawn. They would test it and they would give you an average blood sugar, which is known as the HbA1c. The scanning app, although it's not taking any blood, it can do a bit of an estimated HbA1c, and I really need to get that down to 5.4 to 6. That would be absolutely perfect. That would be like the dream to have that HbA1c. But as it stands at the moment, I'm currently estimated at around 8.6, which is high. And before that, I was estimated to be around 11, which is just off the chart. That is poor. That is really dangerous for a type 1 diabetic. So yeah, I'm gonna possibly try and get some footage of getting those tests done, giving the results, all that kind of stuff. But I thought it'd be good just to document it, and then I can really pinpoint what I need to do to get this right. There's a lot of other methods that I need to look at to try and get control of this, and that's why I'm hoping I can share this all on this kind of journal. So yeah, that's that. Let's see how this goes, and we'll do a review in 6 months time to see if my blood sugars have improved. Yeah, let's do it. Let's kick some diabetes off. So this is the Freestyle Libre app on my phone, which I use to scan the sensor on the back of my arm, and I have to do that every day to monitor how my blood sugars are going throughout the day. We'll start off with the daily patterns page in the app. This page here gives me an idea of what my blood sugars have been doing over a set period of time. For example, this one's over the last 7 days. The black line running through the page is the most common trend of blood sugar. The 2 blue patterns across the page are less frequent trends, but they have occurred in the last 7 days. I'm just going through the daily patterns that my blood sugars have been following over the different periods of time that I've been using the sensor. For example, the data available for 55 to 90 days is showing that my blood sugars have been riding very high above the number 9, and I need to get those blood sugars back into the 4 to 9 range. On the time and target page, this page shows me the percentage of time that I'm in the 4 to 9 target range. It also gives me the percentage of time when I'm above or below that target range as well. Green is obviously fantastic. Over the last 7 days, it's been 62%, which is good, but there is room for improvement. For 24% of the last 7 days, I've been sitting in the amber range, which isn't dangerous, but it's still on the high side of my target, and that needs to come back down. For 8% of the last 7 days, I've been sitting in the orange range, which is the danger zone. Anything above 13.3 could put me in hospital if I don't look after myself at that range. I've been sitting below the target range for 6% over the last 7 days. This is low blood sugar, and if I don't recognise the signs of low blood sugar, that too can put me in hospital. Again, I'm just going through the time and target over the period of time I've had the sensor for. You can see from the data available for 55 to 90 days that I am fairly on the high side and in the danger zone, so over the last 7 days I have managed to bring those sugars back into range. Now, low glucose events, so that's low blood sugar or hypo, as I explained earlier on in the video. This shows me the number of times my blood sugar has gone below target, and it's important I see this information so I can make adjustments so that my blood sugars don't go below target. The more often I fall below target, the more likely I won't be able to recognise the symptoms of low blood sugar, and then that becomes dangerous. You'll see there's more low glucose events recorded as the days in the period become greater. The next page on the app, we have average glucose. This gives me an average of blood sugar readings in that time frame. The more green, the better. Yep, this average isn't looking good over the last 55 to 90 days. Oops. The daily graph tab on the app just visually shows me what my blood sugars have been doing throughout the day. I have to scan the sensor at least once every 8 hours, otherwise I won't get a full 24-hour representation of what my blood sugars have been doing. I'm just going back a few days, just showing you what my blood sugars have been doing. You can see there's peaks and troughs every day, and I want to avoid that. I want to get that black line into the green area for the most part of the 24 hours. 8th of May, I had a fairly good day, a few lows, but then at night time I spiked, and that's frustrating. The day before, on the 7th of May, I think that was probably one of the best days I've ever had in the 14 years of having diabetes. 5th of May, I don't know what happened, probably one of those days. I don't want to have one of those days though, I just want to be able to boss this, you know. Yeah, I can't be having ups and downs like this. I need to get that black line in the green target range permanently. Okay, so estimated A1C, that's the HbA1c I was talking about. The HB just means hemoglobin. And this is the one I quite look forward to checking on a daily basis just to see if there's been any improvement over the last day or so. Currently it's at 8.5%, which is 69, and that's not great, but it's not bad. So I need to make some improvements, and this is what this journey is going to be looking at, trying to get it down from 8.5 down to 6. Anything less than 6 would be spot on, but 6 is my goal. About a month ago, my A1C level was about 11, which is a danger zone. So I'm pleased I've managed to get it down to 8.5 from the last 4 weeks. But yeah, definitely room for improvement. When I go to my diabetes appointment at the hospital, they will take some blood and that'll give me an accurate reading of my HbA1c level. This on the app is just an estimate, so it'll be good to see what the comparison is when I get my blood taken at the hospital. The sensor usage page just shows me how many times I'm scanning the sensor in a day or over a period. On average, it looks like I'm scanning at about 19 scans per day, which is good. It gives me a lot of information. Between 55 and 90 days, it looks like I was only scanning at about 10 scans a day on average. That's still good because it's more than what I would be doing if I were to finger prick and test with a device. But the more scans you do, the more results you get, and you can adjust insulin and carbohydrate patterns based on those results. At the top of the app, we have the logbook page, and this shows me the actual readings when I scan the sensor with the phone, and it also has an arrow next to that number most of the time anyway. These arrows tend to show me whether my blood sugars are staying steady, or whether they're going high really quick, going low really quick, or whether they're kind of gradually going high or low, and then I can adjust my insulin depending on which way those arrows are going. I also have the option to put in some notes on the page as well, so I can put in how many units of insulin I've taken, how many carbohydrates I've eaten for that meal, whether I've done any exercise, anything like that, just so I can go back and make adjustments where I need to. On this screen, all the coloured dots are where I've physically scanned the sensor and it's giving me a reading. Here we go. So on this page, I must have had about 20 grams of carbohydrates. Normally I would take 1 unit of insulin per 10 grams of carbs, but as you can see, I've taken 4 units of insulin, and that's because my blood sugars are already a little bit higher. So I've taken a little bit extra insulin just to bring them down into range and then compensate for the grams of carbohydrates. Here you can see I was sitting just in the danger zone, so I've taken 2 units of insulin to try and bring me back down to the target. I'm just going to do a quick scan of my sensor to see what my blood sugar is currently at, and it is at 6.8, which is good. It's in target, it's ideal. So there you go, that was a quick run through of the Freestyle Libre app, which I use on a daily basis. But I hope it gives you an idea of how I monitor my blood sugars on a daily basis and how I'm going to use this to improve on my blood sugars in the next 6 months. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, bye, stay safe, bye, 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 bye.